Hello and welcome to this week's OTR Love Team Time Trial Series. This is race 8, and what we're going to show you is the 5 teams that we've recorded this week for League 3. Niagara Falls in Canada. We're going to look at the usual first minute of the race. So let's get things going. 2, 1, and off we go. So top left, Australia Koalas, RTR, Australia Quokkas. We have a new team, 3R Wiggles, and Australia Dingoes. And unfortunately, it looks as though Glenn from RTR had a technical right at the beginning, so he's not racing with the rest of the team today. So you have Tony, Andrew, Carolyn racing as a threesome, and they'll need to finish as is. Australia Quokkas, again a threesome with Tim, Dan and Sean. Wiggles, again this is a new team from 3R. We have Jonathan Geddes, Fred Filden, Lee Saunders and Gav Shearer. And you'll have seen these coming through from 3R Mushroom. And Australia Dingoes with Ian, Ben, Noel and Ash. And Gary as well. But looks as though Gary in that first split has dropped, so he's now about 81 metres back from the group. So let's see if he can get back through, but looking at his timings, doesn't look as though he can do that so far. So what I've tried to do here is let's just focus on what the teams do on the climb. So I've extended the highlights so that we can show this. And each of the teams will be doing it in slightly different formats because they'll be going at different paces, but gives you a slight idea as to how they're getting on. But they should all be at the 5 kilometre mark now. Australia Koalas with, is it Bryce up front with Wendy and Michelle, as well as Craig. So we've got 5 riders. And thanks for Wendy for doing the recording. Really appreciate that, and glad to see your turbos fixed. Nice one, Wayne. Thank you. But there is a bit of a gap between Bryce and Michelle. That the guys probably do need to close that up. Maybe it's something they're aiming towards getting through to Bryce. RTR working really well, and they've progressed significantly since the start of this season in how the teamwork is going and staying together as a team. So fantastic to see, guys. Well done. Quokkas and Dingoes again looking really good all together. Same for 3R Wiggles as well. So looking at those times, you've got Australia Koalas on 10 minutes 2, RTR is 9 minutes 44, Quokkas 9 minutes 18, 3R Wiggles for their first run 9 minutes and 10, and Dingoes 8 minutes and 34. So Dingoes are out significantly out in front, with the rest of the teams around the 9 minutes. So hopefully this works slightly better than last week's, when we were showing 10 teams, a lot smaller screen, and this is just focused on those teams that are in League 3. What we'll do is the same thing for League 2 and also for League 1. So Dingoes, you've got Ben up front at the moment with Ian, Ash, Noel and Gary close behind. But he's, as I said, he's not caught up, and he's now 700 metres behind, so we're not going to see him for the rest of the race, unfortunately. And looks like Dan in Quokkas is having problems with steering, so the team are moving over to the right hand side to support him, which is fantastic to see as well. Wiggles staying relatively centre of the line, along with Koalas and RTR, and as I said, with Dingoes. Jonathan Geddes up front, with Fred, Lee and Gav. And with Australia Koalas, Michelle and Wendy, Bryce as he's back, so they've caught up with him on this 10k split. And you have, is it Craig? Yes. And Dave has dropped, so looking at 340, no. Yeah, so he's dropped significantly back, so we're not going to be able to see him for the rest of this race, unfortunately. I think the common denominator for all the other riders is the cameraman is dropped back significantly as well, so around 1.5 to 2.5 Ks. Quokkas are doing fantastically well. Same with Dingoes. Dingoes, you've got Noel up front now with Ash, Ben, Ian and Gary. With 3 on mushrooms, Fred, Jonathan, Lee and Gav. RTR, you got Andrew, Tony and Carolyn just coming through on the halfway mark. And Bryce taking it up with Wendy, Craig and Michelle. Again, just going through that halfway mark now. So again, looking at the splits, Australia Koalas, 20 minutes and 22 seconds, RTR 19 minutes and 15, and then we go into the 18 minutes with Australia Quokkas at 18:33, and 3R Wiggles at 18:20, and then finally Australia Dingoes 16 minutes and 46. So pulling out an extensive lead now. But I think Dingoes are going to go up from the sound of things on the league tables, but we'll see. We'll have a look at those at the end of the race. So Ben up front with Ian, Noel, Ash, Tim up front for Quokkas, Tony up front, and Bryce up front for Australia Koalas. And then you got 3R Wiggles. Now Fred, Jonathan Geddes, Lee and Gav. Again, Koalas have got, Michelle has opened up a slight lead, and that would be because of the climb. And Wendy just coming into the back now. Okay, Koalas have been doing fantastically well. They had a hiccup last week with Wendy's bike had stopped. I think she has a Wahoo kicker. That didn't work very well. But I think they later on have a technical as well with something. So let's see how they get on. But Wendy is dropping back now. And she has got very little what's going on at the moment. So RTR, Andrew's up front with Tony and Carolyn. Australia Quokkas with Dan, Tim and Sean. Dingoes with Noel up front with Ian, Ben, Ash. And the 4 Wiggles staying together. So you got Lee, Fred, Jonathan and Gav. Yeah, and looking at Australia Koalas, Wendy does look as though that is a technical problem. And she's got no watts coming through at all at the moment. And that's just the view of what Wendy can see at the moment, which is awful to see. But the team are going on. So you've got Michelle, Craig and Bryce just pushing on there. RTR, again, one of the teams that have improved significantly since the start, with Tony, Andrew and Carolyn. And looking at the times, Koalas is 29.46, RTR is 28.07, then into the 26s, 26.59 for Quackers, 26.49 for 3R Wiggles, and Australia Dingoes is 24.25. So that's the timings for the 15-kilometre split. And because it's so close to the end, what we've done is we've taken out the 20-kilometre split and just showed you the finish for the last 2 minutes. So that's what we'll get to see next. And as I said before, due to technical issues, we're unable to bring you the finish for Australia Koalas, which is really unfortunate because they were doing really well. So RTR, you got Andrew, Carolyn and Tony all working together, and they're just coming up to the kite now, closely followed by 3R Wiggles, and Quackers will come through just before Dingoes. Yep. So Dingoes is coming through now. So Noel, Ben, Ian, Ash, and for Wiggles, Fred just taking it on with Jonathan, Lee and Gav at the back. And all the teams in League 3 are all working really well together. We are missing OTR Wicked. They weren't able to post a ride for race 8, but they have done for race 9, so we'll see them next week. So Australia Koalas finished in 40 minutes and 3 seconds, RTR 38.05, Australia Quackers 36.26, very closely followed by 3R Wiggles at 26.21, and then you got Australia Dingoes at 33.04. So really close between Australia Quackers and 3R Wiggles at the end there. But they're all coming into the last 200 metres. So you got Tony up front with Andrew and Carolyn. For Quackers, you got Tim, Sean and Dan. 3R Wiggles just coming through now with Gav, Jonathan, Lee and Fred. And Dingoes came through with Ian, Noel, Ben and Ash. So that's the overall finish position for all of the leagues. So that's a bit weird, but so Koalas 40.03, RTR 38.05, Quackers 36.26, Wiggles 36.21, and Dingoes 33.04. So looking at that league, it looks as though North American X-Force and Australia Dingoes will move up. Australia Wombats and Pokemotion will move down into League 3 from race 9. And you've got Magpies at 4, Wiggles on 6, Eureka is 13 along with Australia Koalas, RTR is 14 and Quackers is 21. And that will make up your League 3 from race 9 through to race 12. So let's see who can effectively get back up to the top of the league for this League 3. And we'll talk about what happens in League 2 and League 1 in a slightly different show. And as I say, we're trying to split it out so that we can focus specifically on the leagues that you're interested in, and we'll post them all at the same time. So thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Please do like and subscribe and provide as much comments as you can. We're always learning, so please do comment. Thank you.